Hi guys, welcome back. So an absolute thriller. South Africa 26, Australia 28. Really exciting finish to the game. The actual play in the game, maybe not an absolute classic, but what we got was our first proper contest of the Rugby Championship. And pre-game, I'd actually put the question in my notes, is recalling Quade Cooper going to be genius or desperation? And we definitely got our answer. So anyway, into the game, 3 minutes in, and it was looking pretty obvious, unsurprisingly, that the tactical kicking was going to be a big thing for South Africa, and it was working to start with. It was pinning Australia right back, and indeed, Australia, similar to their games against New Zealand, were overplaying on their exit strategy, and they actually gave away a nice simple 3 points to Pollard early on. And indeed, the first few penalties were a bit of gifts, really. It was a bit like Christmas come early. Australia went through decent phases in the South Africa 22, but then South Africa compete at the ruck illegally, give points back to Australia, 3-3. And then McDermott tries to clear his lines with a box kick and has absolutely no protection whatsoever. You've got Ebenezabeth there, with his knife and fork, tucking in his napkin, puts pressure on him, and from that, they actually get a scrum penalty in a good position, so they kick that 6-3 up for South Africa. And then the last of the early gifts for the penalties was LaRue, who just lobbed the ball to Pollard in a terrible position, put him in all sorts of problems. Australia win the ruck penalty 6-all. So it's kind of honours even in giving each other points. Anyway, then the first big incident on 15 minutes, Khaleesi makes a big hit, and South Africa were tackling well as they normally do, but unnecessarily lifts up the fullback Banks' leg past the horizontal. Luckily, he doesn't land on neck or head, so it is just a yellow, but a little bit silly there. And Australia immediately capitalise off the penalty line out. Cooper and Karevi working in tandem very nicely. Both players were key to Australia. Cooper with his cool head, creativity as well, and his goal kicking, and Karevi with his hard lines. We'll talk more about Cooper later, I think. Anyway, Kellaway steps and scores out on the right. Nice try, 6-13. Take advantage of that yellow card. Now, South Africa, 20 minutes into the game, come back with a nice kick chase and set-piece game. It's starting to look good, no surprise. Force some penalties on the kick chase, but Pollard misses it. And there's a few missed kicks, I think, that South Africa will be ruining as well. One from Pollard there, Willemse, who comes on later, misses a conversion badly. So, the game could have been different like that. But anyway, that was missed. 24 minutes, South Africa, some massive hits, forcing penalties off a ruck. Go into a big series of possession. Line out on the 22, another penalty. 5 metre line out. Khaleesi comes back on, another penalty. Then they go for a grubber through off another line out. Am regathers, it looks in the try-scoring area, in the dead ball zone. All he has to do is touch the ball down on any piece of grass, but he actually falls into McDermott and loses the ball, so that's a bit of a nightmare. No try, but they go back to the line out, another maul, another penalty, and the inevitable yellow card from that. That was Phillip going off, and finally from another maul against the 7 men of Australia in the pack. They score their try, 11-13, and they're back in the game. So that's great stuff for them. Mbonambi goes over there. Big period of play for South Africa. And just a little note here, Cooper's trying to do a few little chip kicks over the midfield, which are fine. The kicks are fine, but the chase isn't there. So that was a bit of a problem for Australia early on. Then Australia, from a penalty, get a chance of their own line out, 10 metres out, up to 5 metres through the phases, another penalty, and then such an easy 3 on offer in front of the points. They wisely take those points, and Cooper kicks, I think, 7 penalties in the end, which is, a lot of penalties, especially for a fly half who's known for his running more than his kicking, even though his kicking's got so much better as he's got older. So that's 11-16. And as that first half wears on, Australia's basics actually start to improve a lot. Their kicking, their set piece is improving. They're starting to negate South Africa's strengths a bit, and that really, really helps them. And on 37 minutes, Australia attack, make good ground, finding holes all over the place now, really moving the ball around well, but also sniping around the ruck as well. That's good stuff. They're deep inside the 22, but a really bad spill of the ball from Alatoa with 5 metres to go. That was a big opportunity, I thought, before half-time to score. So, I thought that was going to be it for the half, but no, they get a big scrum penalty, where South Africa were just looking to clear the ball, and they actually sneak another 3 points, 11-19 at half-time. So the second half starts. South Africa need to make a comeback. They get a big chance early on. Pollard, nice easy penalty kick, but a really poor miss. Like I said, a few missed kicks in this game, but they get another penalty from a maul. Just a few minutes later, Pollard makes no mistake with that one. Back to 14-19. Just making a note here, Swinton has got a bit of a problem with no arms tackles. He seems to be doing it a fair bit, to be honest. Just made a little note there. And then on 49 minutes, we get our first ever 50-22 of international rugby. It's Nick White, nice top roller, box kick over the top. They celebrate because obviously they get the line out from that. Go into phases in the 22, and Villy LaRue makes another pretty bad error. Australian 2v1. Bit of an obvious deliberate knock-on, penalty and a yellow card. So that's not good. 14-22, Australia stretched the lead. 53 minutes. South Africa get back into the 22. Some huge collisions. Both sides really putting in the physicality, and it's Hooper who comes up with a massive jackal. So Australia seem to have wrestled the momentum back into this game now. They've got the lead, but can they hold on? And indeed, at this point, South Africa ring the changes. Loads of forward subs come on. They've got their old 6-2 bench anyway, so they can do that. And on 57 minutes, a huge up and under bomb from Pollard onto Mapimpi. He beats Banks in the air. The ball bobbles around. South Africa grab hold of it. Get into another devastating phase of line-outs, mauls and penalties. There's a no-arms tackle for Inga. That was not good at all. There's quite a lot of yellow cards in this game. Like I said, pretty messy. They get to a 5-metre line-out and an easy maul try. Their maul was really powerful all day for South Africa. Marks this time goes over. Back to within a point. Good conversion. 21-22. Exciting stuff. Game finally balanced. Anyway, Visa, who did get into a bit of trouble in the Lions tour as well, with ruck infringement, infringes again. There's a long kick for Cooper, real tricky one on the angle, but it's a great kick, nails it, 21-25. And then it's starting just to fall apart for South Africa. Pollard panics from a long kick from Australia, throws the ball directly into touch, but they get a reprieve when the very reliable Karevi actually makes a big mistake off their launch play. So again, a bit of a let-off for South Africa there. Can they get back into it? Well, they actually do. What was interesting, though, Willemse comes on for Pollard, who wasn't having his best game. That was interesting, but then Willemse actually goes on to miss a kick later on, so didn't make a huge improvement as such. Anyway, big scrum penalty from South Africa seems to get their impetus going again. 70 minutes, another couple of penalties, 5-metre mauls, another penalty, goes wide to Nkosi. He flings it back inside, but they can't quite get the ball down. But anyway, it's a penalty advantage. They go back to their 5-metre line-out maul, very patient, and Marks smashes over. They go in the lead 26-25, but a very poor conversion miss from Willemse. Now, that was costly, like I mentioned. 1 point in it, 5 or 6 minutes to go. Seriously exciting stuff. And Australia comes steaming back with a really varied attacking running game. Definitely a lot better running game than South Africa. Asking a lot of questions all over the pitch for South Africa. But to be fair, South Africa are pushing Australia back. They push them back a good 20 metres, back to halfway, possibly out of penalty range. And my goodness me, Karevi puts Hooper free down the left finally. Even though they've been pushed back, they do find the hole. It looks like this is it. This is the chance. Hooper just has to go for a 2-on-1 to Hodge, but they mistime it. The ball is dropped in the tackle. It looks like Australia have just blown their chance. And indeed, a couple of minutes later, Hodge makes another big error. doesn't really know what to do off a counter-attack, surely keep the ball in hand with only a couple of minutes to go, but he puts up a really poor up and under. They lose the ball. It really looks like it's all over. But no, it's not. They get one more chance off a messy scrum. Nick White, I think, wins a penalty, a no-release penalty in the ruck. And they get a shot at goal. Tricky, 40, 45 metres on the angle for Cooper. Very similar to his kick last time. Can he repeat that fantastic strike? And my goodness me, it is sweet as a nut. What a kick. Sails straight through. Australia win 26-28. Cooper, what a hero. So seriously exciting game. Some very interesting things there with Cooper coming back into the Australian side. Now, should Cooper be playing 10 all these years that he wasn't playing for Australia? Well, I don't think so. He's a lot better player now than he was when he was young, ironically. Obviously, he's slowed down a little bit, but back then, he was very exciting, great step, good running play, but his tackling wasn't great, his goal kicking wasn't great, and eventually, he's put it all right, and he's come back and proven he can be the all-round 10 that Australia need. Certainly in the short term, maybe not the long term, but what a great game. Australia sneak it, sets it up fantastically well for the return match. So yeah, let me know what you think, who played well and what you made of that game. I'll catch you guys next time.